Sense maker.
Chief Christopher Geoman'S at the mic, breaking down the noise, bringing clarity quick. Common sense solutions straight to the point. Listen up, let's get it right. Sense maker, cutting through the haze. Chief Christopher Geoman'S bringing wisdom to the ways. Practical advice, no nonsense guide. Common sense podcast side by side. Life's complex issues simplified with ease. Chief's insights, you'll breeze through the T's. Real talk, no fluff, just the facts. Get ready, let's tackle the facts. Sense maker, cutting through the haze. Chief Christopher Geoman'S bringing wisdom to the ways. Practical advice, no nonsense.
It's time for Chief Christopher Geoman'S podcast of Common Sense.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Christopher Geoman podcast of Common Sense. And in this edition, we have with us a very wonderful person whom, when introduction starts, you understand is worthy of his name. The spate of killing in our country has gotten to a crescendo, and it's getting so worrisome that we're beginning to think that since Nigeria has been declared as a country of particular concern by Donald Trump, that maybe these guys have now gone on rampage. They've now decided to go on haywire, killings in 1 week. A brigadier general and 3 of his men were abducted and publicly executed by the Islamist terrorists in Borno State. 64 civilians, including women and children, abducted in Safi local government area of Zamfara State by Islamist terrorists. 25 female students and their principal abducted from a school in Maga, Kebbi State. And 38 worshippers abducted from a church in Eruku, Kwara State. 1 policeman killed in an attack by Islamist terrorists in Gendam, that is Yobe State. 8 members of the civilian-tagged JTF killed and 3 abducted by this same terrorist in Goza, Borno State. 15 people abducted, including 4 Muslim mothers and babies, and 2 killed in Sabongeri, Sokoto State by these same terrorists. And 4 rice farmers were killed in an attack by these same Islamist terrorists in Edu, Kwara State. 52 students abducted in a Catholic church in Kotongora, Niger State, all in just 1 week. And to make this thing very interesting, this same week, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, was given what have been condemned all over the world as a shambolic judgment, that he's a terrorist. You remember the Buhari government proscribed the indigenous people of Biafra as terrorists, even though it refused to in the same vein call those people who have just mentioned that have been killing people all around as terrorists. But you know, Nigeria has to work. Another funny twist is the PDP primaries that the PDP conventions that just took place, where the one who thought he is the Lord of the Ring was actually taught a little lesson in politics, putting real word to that saying that says that in the Hausa language they will say Jambaya Basoroba, that the retreats of the ram should not be mistaken for cowardice. Maybe it is just to strike harder. This and others we are going to discuss on this segment of the Chief Christopher Geoman podcast of Common Sense. See you right after this commercial.
Sense maker.
Chief Christopher Geoman'S at the mic, breaking down the noise, bringing clarity quick. Common sense solutions straight to the point. Listen up, let's get it right.
Welcome back from that commercial timeout. With me in the studio is Mazi Nnamdi Dickson-Iroegbu. Mazi Dickson-Iroegbu is an acclaimed Nigerian film director, producer, screenwriter, public affairs analyst, and politician. He is a prominent figure in Nollywood and the Nigerian film industry. He is known for directing and producing numerous hit movies, the first winner of the Africa Movies Academy Awards AMA 2005, a proud member of the PDP, a human rights activist, philanthropist, and unapologetic Igbo man. He is blessed with 3 grown adults and God-fearing, beautiful, handsome kids. My hands are not strong enough to lace the shoes of this gentleman, but I'll allow him to say the ones that I've not said. Sir, you're welcome to the Chief Christopher Geoman'S podcast of Common Sense, all the way from Royal TV, stables of Royal TV here in the United Kingdom.
Chief Christopher, thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity to be with you. And I want to greet especially our brothers, sisters, brethren who are out there that will listen and are listening now. I thank you for the wonderful introduction. I am Mazi Nnamdi Dickson-Iroegbu, a proud son of the soil, a Nigerian, an Igbo man by everything you can imagine. I am a God-fearing man indeed, yes, I admit. And that is the life I want to live, because that is the beginning of wisdom, when you have the fear of God. So that's probably all that I can say. A man who has the fear of God and who wants to see a better nation. Dalo?
Yes. In fact, somebody said that if the Nigerian matter is actually, if explained to you and you begin to understand, it means that you are actually going mad. Because the present state of the country, which you and I love so much, it has taken such a decline that I think all hands have to be on deck in trying to fix it. I'm going to start from, in recent times, you have been involved in different activism, especially as it regards the state of the nation. I mean, you are always on different TV stations, and your candid analysis of issues have, even though you are a PDP chieftain, yes, a member of the opposition, yes, but you really speak like a detribalized Nigerian. For those of us that grew up in the North, and I believe you grew up in the North because you speak fairly good Hausa, the North have been a very wonderful place growing up. I was born in the North, and I grew up in the North. In fact, I've lived all my life in the North. And it really pains me that sometimes the face of terrorism, especially when they say Islamists, all of us know that we have very good friends who are Muslims, who are very, very good practicing Muslims, who will never cheat you with a dime. In fact, I used to tell people as a businessman that I prefer doing business with the Hausa man, because the real Hausa man, the real Muslim, will tell you he doesn't like to cheat. He will treat you fairly. But suddenly, maybe because of the rise of politics and the rest, we don't know what is happening. Sir, the state of Nigeria, especially with this rise uprising in the North, what do you have to say?
Thank you. Yes, indeed. I was born in the North. I was born in Kano. That is the most commercial nerve of northern Nigeria, now city of northern Nigeria. I was born in Kano and I grew up in Zazzau. I know the North. I grew up with Northerners. I wrote Hausa in school because I did my primary and secondary school in Zaria. But something went wrong. A vacuum was created, leadership vacuum was created. Because the days of the Sarduano of Sokoto, the days of Tafawa Balewas, the days of military leaders like the Shehu Yaradua and the rest of them, the days of Metama Sule and all of those people, the days of
The great orator.
Balare Musa, Aminu
Serikin
Kano,
Talakawa.
you know, people whose intention about leadership was simply for the people, for the people. But the crop of leaders now that the North has are mostly about self and not for the people. Because all that you see now happening there is selfishness pushed to the extreme, greed pushed to the extreme, lust for power pushed to the extreme, and then productivity zero, because you have this entitlement mentality that Nigerian harmony, we are born to rule. No, nobody was born to rule, and none was born to be ruled. So the mindset of the crop that are said to be leaders from northern Nigeria now, because if they were leaders, they ought to be covering their faces in shame. That is why some of us in 2023 felt really hurt that even with the abysmal failure of Muhammad Buhari, that the northern Nigeria was still positioning to take over seat of power. Atiku had still had that drive to contest. No, that wasn't the North I knew. The North that I knew had moral consciousness that, allows for, give and take, which politics ought to be about. But what we are seeing now from the crop of leaders, except, of course, for recent development that we witnessed with the governor of Bauchi State, the Senator Bala Mohammed, who surprised me personally as a member of PDP, because he mentioned my partisan position. Yes, I'm a member of PDP, and proudly so. And the party made a mistake in 2023, because we warned in 2022 that the party should zone its ticket to southern Nigeria, and deliberately also work it out to ensure that it is the southeast that is given the slot. Because in party development or building or growth, if you don't have means of rewarding loyalty, then there won't be growth. People won't give their all to the party. And that moment, I personally felt betrayed. Personally, I felt aggrieved as a Nigerian, as an Igbo man, as a Southerner, that the North was presenting Atiku, and that was why we left the party. So let me come back to why we are where we are today in Northern Nigeria. And same is also playing out in the Southeast, where we come from. But let's finish with the North. So because of this greed of the few individuals who are said to be politicians, those almajiris that we knew when we were there, because almajiri system has always been there, these leaders couldn't abolish that bad omen that befell that environment. Because how can a man give birth to a child and say the child is outside without guidance from his parents, from his father, from his mother?
Total abuse. Total
no
abuse.
care, nothing. That is injustice against humanity. So
that's
one thing
crazy.
that the leaders from northern Nigeria didn't do and haven't done is boldly confront that scourge of Al-Majri system. They can't say is an Islamic thing. It's not an Islamic thing. Saudi Arabia, where Islam is the headquarters, where is the headquarters of Islam? There's no Al-Majri on the streets. Iran, even Afghanistan, there are no Al-Majris on the streets. So what is the northern Nigeria? So that is the failure. Because there's no leadership example from these people now became tools in the hands of bad people. Buhari told us, if he didn't win the election in 2015. He told us that. Yes.
Dogs and the baboons will be soaked in blood.
Yes. And that is what happened, that allowed these criminals to be so empowered by the politicians, because they believed that they needed to cause chaos. They needed to, weaken the government and all its moral compass and all of that. And so they demonized the then administration of Goodluck Jonathan, who was doing everything possible, to give us an egalitarian nation. Because if Jonathan had come back in 2015 and implemented the 2014 National Compact document, then our nationhood would have been activated. Nigeria is not a nation yet. Nigeria desires to be a nation, but it's not a nation yet. We are a group of nations doing nationhood business, unfortunately, without a memorandum of understanding that collectively binds all of us as we would adopt.
Because the truth is the 2014 amalgamation of Nigeria was not done with Nigerians.
1914 amalgamation. Of course, Nigerians were not
we were not consulted.
Exactly.
And when we were amalgamated,
it elapsed in 2014, 100 years after. You had a right to renegotiate. So we had that moment, that chance to renegotiate the nation by, first of all, giving the nation the people's constitution.
Yes.
Do you understand? Because that document, that 2014 National Compact document, would have been taken to the National Assembly, and if it was Jonathan's administration, he would have, through his office, persuaded the National Assembly to now give the people a people's constitution, because the Nigerian people sat and agreed. So, but Buhari and his gang, the APC, altered it with every extreme positioning that they took. That extreme positioning, they demonized, they empowered these ragtag and armies, these children who were now vulnerable, who didn't have any form of guidance and all of that from the family and all that. They empowered them, armed them, emboldened them. Because if you recall, when Boko Haram was escalating and they were calling for negotiation and all of that, a dialogue, Jonathan's administration said, okay, but I can't be dialoguing or negotiating with ghosts. So who are the people that I will negotiate with? Can they come out? They nominated late President Muhammad Buhari as their spokesperson to go and negotiate with the president. Even though he declined that nomination, but it's on record that Buhari was nominated by Boko Haram to speak with government. So we know the trace, therefore, where we found ourselves. Even some of the leaders, the then chairman of former chairman of PDP, who was also former secretary of PDP, of course, was the group that moved the the new PDP that joined them to form the APC and all of that. What's his name now? Forgotten, from Kwara State. He came out to tell Nigerians that they imported and empowered these bandits, so-called now, because that's what they called them. They called them bandits, that they were empowered.
They were first of all called unknown gunmen.
No, but now bringing it to the East. The East is experiencing... Yes. The East is experiencing the same thing. Leadership vacuum. The Nnamdi Azikiwes are no more there. The Michael Okparas are no more there. Even the Kembanewis of this world are no more there. Because those leaders were just about the people. They were about the people. But the crop we have now is about self. That is why Southeast became a shadow of itself. And then somehow, nature abhors a vacuum. Came up. Yes, Nnamdi came up with Mazi Nnamdi came up with his own crusade, and the people were looking for a leader, and he showed leadership, and a lot of Nigerian and Igbo followed him, and bought into his. We
shall come to the Nnamdi Kanu issue later. Now, the truth is, it is not deniability in it is crazy to me when in 2025 you still have people who want to deny what everybody knows. The internet and everything has made it that there is nowhere for anybody to hide anymore. In fact, things that you've said many years ago are brought back. I'll give you an example like El-Rufai, the President El-Rufai, who wants to be the how will I say? I don't want to call him the savior. I don't want to call him the Tarzan of Jungle, the sudden He wants to become the Pope of the Catholic Church, who is going about preaching, talking about this, talking about that. Yes, many of the things he's saying are true, yes, but the truth is that those things should not be coming from his mouth. Because I grew up in Kaduna State, and for the 8 years when he was governor, we were in Kaduna State, and we experienced him firsthand. The killings in southern Kaduna got to a crescendo when he, El-Rufai, was, and to be fair to the present governor of Kaduna State, he's really trying his best to actually, the insecurity as it was during El-Rufai that inherited is not the way it is now. El-Rufai really messed up the security architecture of Kaduna State. He was the one that introduced the Muslim ticket in Kaduna State. And he was the one that, it was a time when he went to southern Kaduna and they stoned him away. Yeah, he was the one that is bringing chiefdoms into, that is bringing emirate into a place where you only have chiefdoms. Remember the Agwom of Adara that died, came to visit him for a meeting, and on his way back was kidnapped and killed. And a first-class chief was killed like a dog. So sometimes when I hear El-Rufai himself talking now, the same person who is on record on video saying that with the Muslim ticket that he has brought to Kaduna State, which is the first of its kind in a wonderful state like Kaduna State, that he has put to rest, the issue of a Christian whatever in Kaduna State. The same El-Rufai once is recorded on TV to have said that that if paying the bandits will bring peace, that he pays the bandits. He's the same person who is going on air now saying that he doesn't support paying of bandits, blah blah blah, bombing. So, like you said, the leadership vacuum is not just in the north. It's actually the new crop of leaders we have in the country now are actually some of. Let's not use one brush to paint all. Some of the leaders that we have now are actually thinking of just themselves and not the people.
Most of them, I'd rather put it as most of them. You see, because most of them, the El-Rufai angle you brought in and all that, you see, the stories, this generation is blessed because of social media, access to information. When we were growing up, we didn't have this kind of access. Exactly. If we had the kind of access that the young people today have,
only what we are told
probably
that we hear.
Yes,
when you listen to Radio Nigeria, what you hear
exactly
is what you take.
Nothing is hidden here now. Exactly. Now that is why when you see the lack of direction that we are seeing from northern Nigeria. Because, my brother, these people have held power for how long? They keep saying, they start counting from 1999. No. Since the inception of this country, northern Nigeria has had sway when it comes to power grabbing. But what did they translate it into? Today, northern Nigeria is the capital of poverty in the world. And there are leaders. So that is why when you see the kind of evil going on, such that the killings, my brother, if we don't engage this government and make sure that Tinubu is sacked in 2027, this country may not survive another onslaught. Nigeria may not survive another onslaught that will come from the extremists, because they will be further emboldened. They did it in Kaduna, had a Muslim ticket, succeeded. They have done it in Nigeria, had a Muslim ticket and are in charge. And you now wonder why they won't be emboldened? Of course they will be emboldened. Should they succeed in getting it a second term, then we are finished. Now, let us bring it to the center. Now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because I don't want to settle on this northern end alone. The Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now has been taken to Sokoto.
So we learned.
Yes, so we learned.
Yes.
What is the plan? The one who boldly revealed through the counsel of the divine what is playing out now is who they have targeted. Because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu no matter how you want to look at it. If he was in the days of the Bible, he would have been called a prophet. He would have been said to be, yes, like the prophet Elijah and the rest of them. Everything he said, every counsel he gave, even before he took the extreme position of Biafra or death, he was about the country, Nigeria, getting it right. There are videos of him when he was campaigning for this country to be given a chance. When the country failed him and failed his people, because every now and then the Igbo man is the scapegoat in Project Nigeria. And there is no Nigerian greater committed than the Igbo man in Project Nigeria. Not one. Because we're the ones that go to every part of Nigeria and add value. Yet we are the targeted. So the judgment that the Tinubu administration, because as far as I'm concerned, it is Tinubu. Forget the cock and bull story about, oh, it is judiciary, they have their independence. When he gets to this kind of issue, they say it's independent. No. Okay, you have the Attorney General as your minister. You can tell the Attorney General to withdraw the case. And then you sit on a round table and discuss our common interest. Because what is his grouse? The injustice in the land is too much. The unfairness in the land is too much. The inequality in the land is too much. The hate against my people is too much. And please, if you don't want us here, we are glad to want to exit. That's not a crime. For you now to say you are charging him for terrorism. It's on record that all the periods that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu embarked, on those protests across the East and all that, there was no moment of record of violence. Even when they were provoked by the police, even when they were shot at by the police, even when they were killed by the police, the protest was always peaceful. While that peaceful engagements were going on, Buhari's administration got an illegitimate order to proscribe the IPOB. This is the genesis of it. While they proscribed IPOB, we kept saying that IPOB, and I maintain it, that IPOB is not a terrorist organization. They now created the violent tag, instigating the unknown gunmen operation in the Southeast. The government was directly involved in it so that they can justify the proscription of IPOB as a terrorist organization. This is the genesis of insecurity in southeastern Nigeria. And all of this has played out around the APC. Because since 2015, like I said in one of the appearances I had in the media, I said, since 2015, not less than 100 people, 100 citizens of Nigeria get slaughtered every day since 2015. And there's no attempt in place anywhere. There's no plan in place anywhere to stop it. So the evil that now became what we're faced with has been put on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, another Igbo man again. The Igbo man is the scapegoat again. You want to tackle terrorism. Where are those that the list that was given by the Emirate government? Have you forgotten under Buhari, a list was given about the sponsors of terror in Nigeria?
Okay. Yes, by the United Emirates, by United Arab Emirates, yeah.
Yes. Mr. President, where is that list? How come those people have not been tried? So you now see that APC government is directly involved in the aspects of insecurity in the country, the terrorism that we have. Is it because Trump has not directly called him out and called his organization out? But let them wait, because we give God praise that God still rules in the affairs of men. Since Trump came out and engaged on this direction that Christian genocide is going on in Nigeria, can't you see the running around helter-skelter? And the president is suddenly now canceling his overseas engagements and all that, because there is pressure coming. So the judgment of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will not stand. We will engage it. And for the good of Nigeria, if this president means well for the future of this country, there's a need for that political approach to be adopted immediately. Because should anything happen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Nigeria will be shocked what will befall it.
To be a little bit sincere, to be a little bit unfair to this government, insecurity have actually started right from time, but we all know they are politically motivated. Like we said, even Goodluck confessed that Boko Haram are in his cabinet. He made that comment, that he has members of Boko Haram in his cabinet. And to be sincere to Goodluck, during Goodluck's time, many people perceived Goodluck as being weak in handling the security crisis. Now, it's not as if he was really weak. And if you remember, before the 2015 election with Dasuki, there was a total slaughter of these Boko Haram terrorists that even made that people were like,
there was no captured territory under Jonathan before the election.
Is this now the end of Boko? That was the question people asked. Is this now the end of Boko Haram? So that means that insecurity, because I still remember, in church then we formed the security people, we formed security committee, there will be buffers, there will be this, that, all those bombings and stuff like that. So this has always preceded. And unfortunately, the poor masses who have nothing to do with all this have always bear the brunt of all this killing.
Yeah.
We'll take a commercial break. When we come back, we will look at we will be looking at solutions, and we'll actually look very well at Nnamdi Kanu's judgment and the way forward, especially what I call the betrayers of the leaders, of the Igbo leaders from the Southeast. We'll see you after this commercial breakout.
Sense maker. Chief Christopher Geoman'S at the mic, breaking down the noise, bringing clarity quick. Common sense solutions straight to the point. Listen up, let's get it right. Sense maker, cutting through the haze. Chief Christopher Geoman'S bringing wisdom to the ways. Practical advice, no nonsense guide. Common sense podcast side by side. Life's complex issues.
Yeah, welcome back from the little commercial timeout. I remember before we went on this commercial timeout, we were looking at state of insecurity in Nigeria. The proscribing of Nigeria as a country of particular concern, also the Nnamdi Kanu issue. Now, with me still in the studio is Mazi Nnamdi Dickson-Iroegbu, wonderful social activist, wonderful videographer, a man whose words cuts through just in butter. And I can tell you, this guy is a true Nigerian. Sir, somebody said, okay, we've said all the problem it is, the problem is that, and I want to still believe, sir, that yes, political parties are vehicles for people to get aspiration, to get to whatever aspiration they need. You must pass through a political party, and I can still say that as a party, there are still good people in the APC who are doing wonderful things. There are still some people, and in the PDP too, there are some people who have not done wonderfully well. But you can see that some people are the rate. What we have now is defectors. Everybody is defecting. You have so if we're talking about party now, you have a party is made up of defectors from the other party. The spate of defection, even in the midst of all this confusion, is unprecedented in the history of Nigeria. And we begin to wonder if Nigeria is tilting towards a one-party state. So now let's look at solutions. Going forward, how do you think, let me put you in the position of Mr. President, because I can tell you that he said he's depressed. I want to believe that he's really depressed because, what is happening is enough to make somebody, as Shake said, is lonely at the top. Those people who are advising him, who are telling him this, the president must not be the smartest person on earth, but sometimes the people around you, So tell me, going forward, if you were the president, sir, at this critical moment, what would you have done differently from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? What will you have done differently if you were president?
At this moment, if I was president, first, I will address the nation. I will call the attention of the citizens of our country to be vigilant. I will call the attention of the citizens of our country to be patriotic. I will appeal to the citizens of the country to give me a chance. I will be emotional to mourn with the citizens of our country for the citizens who have lost. I will visit them. I will be with them. I will console them. I will take charge directly, day by day, on reports concerning security as commander-in-chief. Because this president...
Actually, that is what you're supposed to do.
That's what the president ought to do. But unfortunately, Tinubu, first, when he came on board, kind of inflicted pain with that statement, subsidy is gone. It felt like someone who we have given, in quote, given, because we didn't give him. I was not one of those that gave him. Nigerians know that Tinubu grabbed it and ran with it. So, but I thought, okay, having grabbed it and ran with it, that you would want to now show to Nigerians why you want to desperately become president of Nigeria. Because he says he's the most prepared Democrat that has become president of Nigeria. But under your watch, democratic tenets are being stifled. Voices of the opposition is every now and then being subdued. The citizens complain about your policies. You say, no, it must go on. That's because you are not about the government. You're not about the citizens. If you are about the citizens, as you announced, subsidy is gone, and you have seen the consequences on the lives of the people you're leading, there's nothing wrong with making a U-turn and saying to the Nigerian people, I think I have seen what the challenge is, because subsidy in itself is not a problem. It's not a challenge. Every government has one thing or the other it subsidizes for its citizens. And that's what governance is supposed to be about. Security and the welfare of the citizens. That is the primary purpose of every government. But when this happened and you don't care, you continued with this policy. The promises made that savings will be made from the removal of subsidy and it will be plowed back into the economy, infrastructure, and all of that. Borrowing will reduce and all of that. What is the state that we find ourselves today? The borrowing has skyrocketed while the people are paying more. The issue with subsidy is the corruption in subsidy. When you
what would you have done differently? What will you have done differently? We've identified this problem. So what will you have done differently apart from speaking to the people, apart from being with them? Because if you just have to be with them, it means the crime has been committed. We're talking about avoiding that, having to go and be with them. It's actually like preventing, So I want to know what you will have done.
On ground, when the president is on ground, right?
Yes.
You would know firsthand what to do, not by reports. When I say be with them, it's not for you to go and sit down with them. Like he said, he has canceled his overseas trips and all of that. Before now, the president would just embark on a trip while people were being slaughtered. All those trips he embarked on with to France and all that now and then, people were slaughtered even while he was on his way to France, over and over again, or other places. So when I say be with them, it doesn't necessarily mean that you go and stay with them in their homes. No, it is staying on ground, staying on the job, and taking charge, because this president doesn't seem to be in charge. Every now and then he's living large, as though if the president is on ground, if a P2P, for instance, whom I supported in 2023, were the president of Nigeria, a P2P will not live a frivolous lifestyle when the economy is harsh. He won't be embarking on unnecessary trips and all of that when we cannot sustain it. This president is lounging while the economy is very harsh on the populace. And the economy is harsh because of the policy. So if I were the president, by now, cushioning effects to tackle the issue of the economy, cushioning effects, sincerity of purpose, these wastages that we are seeing, can we cut it down? Can we stop it? Can we block it? Can we accept and stop making excuses that human beings are not being slaughtered, whether they are more Christians or more Muslims? That's not the issue. The issue is that people are being slaughtered by the day. They are citizens of Nigeria. That should make the president of Nigeria, not even sleep at all. Depression, he should by now resign. Because I don't understand what this is about. People are being killed. People are being slaughtered by the day for no just cause. And you say you're president? Why should I be president over people that are not safe? Why should I be president over people whose property is not secured?
Okay, looking at because we're running out of time, looking at the announcement by Donald Trump that if this thing is not being held, is not being stopped, that they will come in, with gun blazing. Do you see a situation where if they could welcome assistance from the Americans, knowing fully well that if the Americans land and with the kind of sophisticated, weapons and the abilities, that this thing could just be like a walk in the park? Do you think our government should be welcoming the Americans, boot on ground, to help root this menace out? Will it be affecting our sovereignty as a nation?
What is sovereignty when you are not safe? What makes you sovereign is that your territorial integrity is secure. That's what makes you. It's not enough for you to claim you're a sovereign nation. The nation is not safe. So what the heck? You say some claim, the Americans are coming for our resources. How well have you used that resources to better the lives of your people? So what is these resources really without the lives that are supposed to be precious to every human being? So
someone joked and said he doesn't want to hear that word "our" because since he was born, he has never seen any resources. So who are the our?
So who is pulling who? So, but should we welcome the American government, every support we can get? Yes, we should. But of course, as a people, as a country, desirous to be a great nation, it would be right that help should go through the right channel. The pressure is already on. One of the things beyond because I'm not expecting a miracle, the rot has eaten deep into the system. They have infiltrated government and all that. So there's a need to flush out APC completely in 2027. They should not have any reason to return in 2027. That way, we would at least flush out some of them that are within the government. Because the new direction politically that we should adopt, we need nation builders. We need leaders who would put the interest of the people first. Even when you make policies, even when you take harsh decisions and all of that, if it is not working for your people, you can make a U-turn. You should be human when necessary. Don't act Superman when you are not even strong enough. Because if this president has lost his soul, I wonder did you watch that what's it called? The public panel that the Congress had, the US Congress had, that public hearing. Did you see that congressman who was moved to tears? That's humanity.
With Nigerians.
That's humanity. My brother, our leaders have lost it. They don't care. All they do is gather. So beyond boots on ground, I would want to appeal to the United States president to do the same as Barack Obama did in 2013, 2015. 2013, 2014, 2015. They mounted pressure on the government that the so-called said failed. This one, the evidences of failure is overbearing. Tinubu and his gang of APC must just leave in 2027.
And to still be fair,
that is the long-term
I will still say this because I like being balanced. the sincerity of the whole thing is that sometimes, like I still say, it's not just about the party. Because if there is
My
a
brother,
youth
it is, see, in this case, listen, my
now,
brother, you see, I live in
but
Nigeria.
wait, sir, but wait, sir,
No,
but wait,
hold
sir.
on. It's
But
this
even in the
party.
PDP, sir, to be fair, in the PDP, if the PDP too is not is in the PDP too, you still have recycled leaders who have been there and who sincerely should not be there. You know, it's not
My
just
brother,
about the party now.
no,
Because if we don't have if we don't have a new crop, and we're not talking about whether it is PDP or if we don't have a new crop, because Nigeria has over 30-something parties. If we don't have new crop of leaders who actually are nationalistic, all the other ones go behind. If we don't have any, it will still just be like, Robin
you see,
Peter
my
to pay
brother.
for them will still be
This
the
is
same.
why one of those moments I will, leverage on this platform to call on the brothers and sisters, our brethren in the diaspora. This is the time to influence. Let's change the approach. Let's change the approach. Let us move en masse and empower people to register to vote. Let everybody be mobilized. It's no more about, oh, we want to, even when you want to, for those of us from the Southeast and those who are clamoring for Biafra, even the call for referendum, it will still be by vote. So let us mobilize our people. Let us mobilize. Southeast is the poorest place when it comes to voting. Our numbers are very poor, very, very poor. Meanwhile, we are not as being presented. So we need to mobilize our people. And then why I said APC, PDP has had 16 years. APC is about having 10 years, it's about 10 years plus going to 12 years. The difference is clear. And they say the angel, the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know. Now, you're talking about the new political parties like the ADC that came up now. Those names you mentioned, the Erufais and all of them, the people who, alongside Buhari, that wrecked the country between 2015 and 2023, they are the ones also still in those places. So why we are saying PDP is because by the antecedents of PDP in 16 years and the antecedents of APC for the past 10 years, you can tell which party has the interest of the people. Because if it is People's Democratic Party, it is power to the people. My brother, under the watch of PDP, yes, we had division, but not this brazen, obvious kind of division that the government itself is involved in. Not this type. We had hunger in the land, but not this level of hunger where it is so acute that people can't feed. A bag of rice under the watch of PDP was less than 8,000 naira. Under APC, it's almost 100,000. In fact, it sold for 100,000 plus 0 time before it
Why
came
not?
down now.
Why can we try any other party? Maybe
No,
Fresh
no,
Party,
it's not
Young
about trying.
Democratic
That's not the way
Party,
it is. There is
NO
something
Party.
called structure. That is why P2B didn't win in 20 or didn't get announced in 2023 as the winner because he won the election, but the structure to defend the vote was not there. That is the political knowledge that the diasporans need to know. If that structure is not there, it will be difficult for us to win. So PDP is the only political party that has the structure. Not even APC. APC doesn't even have the structure that PDP has. So now that the party has gotten the
We have
likes of
less
you
than
to Wiki out of the way and all of that,
yes,
the party is on
yes.
track.
Coming to that, I
The
want
party
to
is on
come to
track.
that now because
Yes.
we have less than 5 minutes, and I want us to use this very constructively. The one I want you to really touch about now first is Mazi Nnamdi is called Onyendu, and that is because he has actually brought himself to the front. And sincerely, this young man have really given his time to fight for the cause of the Igbo people. But while we are quick to look at what maybe government or this or that, let's look inward. It is often said that the insect that eats the vegetable lives within the vegetable. Let's talk about, I want you to address, unfortunately, our Igbo leader. Since after this judgment was given, I have kept my ears to hear the 5 Eastern governors what said about it. None of them have said anything. all our members of both state house of assemblies, both local governments of assembly, both federal of senate, we have the number 6 man. The man that calls the number 6 man is always bragging up and down. We have big influential people like Joby Kubanas and everybody. We have musicians like Fino and Flavor and all these people. All Igbos have all these wonderful people. They have been silent. Do you think Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the traverse he's passing through is really? Remember, there was something IBB said, that if he actually opens his mouth and tell people what happens during June 12th, those people that told him to annul, the people that suffered, the people that kept MKO there were even mostly from the West, right, from the Southwest. You know, do you think what Nnamdi Kanu is passing through is really not from his own people who are making sure, because of this thing of control, to make sure that he is silenced? Exactly.
The truth of the matter is that
he took a Showore who is a Yoruba man for the first time in the history of Nigeria. It was even you and Showore, sir. You are more one of the conveners. But Showore led the march, going shop to shop to fight
greatness. Showore showed us leadership, you know, and showed us love. You see, it's the Igbo leaders, political leaders are already compromised group. So the government can always scare them and use them as tools to destabilize their environment. The kind of leaders we have now.
P2B suffered the same fate because you remember P2B, a Southeastern governor openly told him that he cannot be president. A member of the Senate openly told him
exactly. So you see the challenge is that it will not stop overnight because they have amassed so much and they have ridiculed us so much. So what we need to do is start afresh. We shouldn't sit at the fence and keep playing the ostrich. Get involved. Why did I, as a filmmaker, join the political arena? I told myself I couldn't keep doing activism and expecting that angels will come in and now activate the change I'm looking for. I decided to join the fray. I want to persuade all of us, whether you are a trader, whether you are a scholar, whether you are a civil servant, it is not illegal to join a political party of choice. Let us get involved in politics. In the Igbo, if we get up to 30% commitment from Igbo people, you know, within the political arena, this crop of leaders who have brought us shame, who could sit back and watch Nnamdi Kanu walk into prison as condemned the other day, they won't come up, they won't emerge because they came from amongst us too. You understand? Exactly. Because of that vacuum, that absence, this crop were the ones identified as our leaders. Personally, I have said I will not do the direction of sitting down the local. I couldn't. And that's why I'm involved. Now, personally, I have identified with the PDP, which is our, in fact, if you look at the tone of the formation of PDP, it represents the kind of ideology of the Southeasterners. We are Republicans by nature. We are Democrats. Democracy did not come from America to us as an Igbo. It runs in our vein. So we identify, I personally said, this is the right place to go to. But then there are leaders in there who presently, the likes of Nyesom Wike, who at the time...
that's what I was going to. So in the same vein, I want to talk about the rise and fall of...
They were doing all they were... Yes, first in 2022, when he was fighting for the power to come to southern Nigeria, I stood with them in that direction because that was the right thing to do. But of course, when the party failed and all that, and betrayed itself, Nyesom Wike became what he became, and so went to support Tinubu. Whatever oath they got into, because I'm bewildered to understand the silence or to comprehend the level of tolerance that the commander-in-chief has given towards issues of Nyesom Wike. If I don't understand it, it's just clear that the man is a tool, you know, that Tinubu is using to destabilize the PDP and indeed possibly end
Allegedly.
democracy.
Allegedly.
Democracy. No, it's not allegedly. The facts are there. The man is your minister and he's doing everything that is, raising tension in the system. And you can't caution him. You can't call him to order. Every day the man is going on with it and you can't caution him. So what is allegedly? The facts are there. So the point is that the PDP has finally done the right thing. The PDP has zoned its ticket to southern Nigeria, right? The PDP haven't zoned its ticket to southern Nigeria. The likes of Nyesom Wike have said they are going to support a southerner who is the current president. We don't begrudge them, but to say you will remain in the PDP and be doing that, undermining our party, presenting our party as weak, people are suddenly saying that PDP is a branch of APC because of Nyesom Wike and all of that, that we couldn't discipline him. Now, they didn't understand. A lot of Nigerians who probably don't know, that's why I said PDP represents the kind of politics I want to play. In the constitution of the party, the only organ of the party that has the powers to expel or suspend and it will stand is the convention. That is the highest organ of the party. So we waited for the convention to hold. That was why the Nyesom Wike group did everything possible to stop the convention from happening. And we stood our ground and said the process of activating the convention was followed legally according to the constitution. It was at the 101 neck that we, zoned the ticket to southern Nigeria and also fixed a date for the national convention, national elective convention to hold, which was 15th to 16th of November. And then these people, started doing everything possible to stop it. Of course, at that convention, PDP showed that no one individual or group of individuals can be greater than the party. And Nyesom Wike and 10 others expelled from the PDP. And it is so. The recent conflict of fracas you saw is the last kick of a dead horse.
Of a dying horse.
A dead horse, not even a dying horse. The horse is dead already. Nyesom Wike is no more a member of our party. So the PDP is back on track. And soon, we will begin to campaign for membership, begin to drive for membership and all of that. And we expect the likes of Peter Obi, to come back to PDP. And I am praying God, that this is my prayer as a politician today, that PDP presents Peter Obi for, 2027. That way, you will see that indeed he won the election in 2023. But there were no soldiers available to defend it.
I knew it would get to this because once start listening to everything you have in your mouth. It will be lovely to have you and Showore. I believe at the next
episode. Showore is my brother, and the love we share now is something else. He has shown us love.
He is from another party. You are from another. It's funny. You are a member of PDP and you are an obedient.
Yeah.
And Showore is the leader of another party, and he fights for. I mean, this is the kind of Nigeria we advocate.
What PDP is going to do going forward. Sorry, let me just summarize this, and it's so that we begin to make plans in that direction. By the time the party settles,
it's battle for you to campaign for PDP.
No. We want a better society. We have to be intentional about it.
Let it just be on record. We are not actually campaigning for any party on this platform, but let's just be on record.
I didn't say you are. You invited me. I'm a member of PDP. I'm telling you that PDP will lead that coalition, that possibly the likes of Showore and all of them can now say, let us come together and support one person that can sack this real leadership that we have today.
May Nigeria get better. Mr. President, we keep praying for you, that you get your act together. And Mr. President has a history. He's somebody too who has been an activist. And he has somebody who has actually fought for this country. Remember under Nadeko, there were these people that actually risked all. And that is why it pains me that at a time like this, that these things want to come up to. But I know that the Jagaban will get his act together. And we have 2 more years. He still has 2 more years or a little bit less than 2 years to sort everything.
Campaign has taken over the focus on governance. He has already started campaigning.
That we are where we are. All right. Any word for Royal TV before we call it a day?
Well, first,
Royal TV 247.
I salute the vision and the visionary. I salute that Royal TV is in existence, and I look forward to it becoming greater than where it is right now. Because once you begin and you're consistent, surely you'll get to the expected destination. I wish Royal TV all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure having you, Mr. Mazi Nnamdi Dickson-Iroegbu. This meeting today just came impromptu, and we feel honored at Royal TV 247 UK that you gave us this. I want to believe that your voice of the people keep being a wonderful, keep speaking for the people, and together know that we're going to bet in Nigeria of the future, that one day, if we are no more, just like the Azikiwes and the Tafa Balewas, that those that are coming after, those are beautiful children, will have in Nigeria, my own beautiful children, will have a Nigeria that they can actually call. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Amen. And thank you very much.
We say have a nice evening.
Thank you very much. And you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, listeners, it's been a pleasure having you here. And remember, it's the Chief Christopher German podcast of Common Sense, where we speak things from a point of common sense. Everything you heard here is the view of our visitors here, and it's not our own view. But remember, please like, subscribe, share, and keep tuning in to Royal TV 247. We salute you, and wherever you are in any part of the world listening to me now, I say, Komesia, bye-bye.
Sense maker. Chief Christopher Geoman'S at the mic, breaking down the noise, bringing clarity quick. Common sense solutions straight to the point. Listen up, let's get it right. Sense maker, cutting through the haze. Chief Christopher Geoman'S bringing wisdom to the ways. Practical advice, no nonsense guide. Common sense podcast side by side. Life's complex issues simplified with ease. Chief's insights, you'll breeze through the T's. Real talk, no fluff, just the facts. Get ready, let's tackle the facts. Sense maker, cutting through the haze. Chief Christopher Geoman'S bringing wisdom to the ways. Practical